The Melvillians were a group of people who greatly adored American writer and poet Herman Melville, going to such extreme lengths to see this man in person that one New York judge deemed it diminishing of personal space and freedom. Nothing out of the ordinary there, especially with celebrity culture. Now, Melville himself was inspired by... Wait, what? Merveilleuses? Je ne connais même pas les français. Alright, I gotta rework some stuff. Bring on the title card.
The story will continue after this.
The Merveilleuses.
Merveilleuses.
The Merveilleuses were a group of 18th century French women who, much like their counterparts the Incroyables, dressed in decadent and sometimes odd fashion. Now, what separated these lovely ladies from the Incroyables was a much more simplistic, antique, and masculine apparel choice. The term merveilleux is French for marvelous, while incroyable is akin to incredible. This kind of explains now why I kept getting videos for the marvelous misadventures of Flapjack when I tried to look up anything on them. Both of these groups were successors to the muscadian movement. The muscadians, dressed much like dandies, carried wooden clubs and were made up of a small population that was France's lower middle class. All three of these groups came about around the end of France's Reign of Terror. Literally the day after the execution of Robespierre, did the aristocrats start showing their wealth in Paris. The Reign of Terror is something that is extremely important to French Revolutionary history, and seeing as I don't want to sit here in a booth all day and lecture you on something you probably got crammed down your throat in a lot of American high schools, I'll direct you to watch a video like this, or the game We the Revolution. Now, to grossly simplify it, the Reign of Terror was a free-for-all murder of anyone that the Committee of Public Safety, chiefly Robespierre and the Jacobins, didn't like.
And now for something completely different.
Oh, Marcel, from a Marquis de la Chambois. Why do you keep touching my cabbage?
Well, Citizen Dupont, on this here cabbage shop, I like cabbage.
Why then must you continue to touch my cabbage? I am getting the Robespierre. He will sort this out.
Do so, for I am a Dantonist. He will not dare anger Georges Danton.
Monsieur Chambois, I have great news for you.
Oui?
Monsieur Danton is dead. He died from Le Robespierre.
Oui?
Your wife is also dead. I have shat my pants as I have seen her corpse strewn about the street. We must take you to England at once, monsieur. And do you happen to have any trousers with you?
Oui?
Monsieur Robespierre is also across the street. He has a guillotine in his hand and a picture of you with a very angry red X crossed through it.
Zut alors. Citizen Dupont, I have received word that Danton has died.
Yeah, we had to outsource that. Now, just a quick side note, I found too late in writing the script. The Thermidorian reaction was immediately after the reign, up until the establishment of the Directorate in 1795. One could count the White Terror as another reaction to the Reign of Terror, but from what I read, it did not affect anything in the other materials, so I'm going to carefully step over these socio-political ideas and get back to fashion. If it does turn out that the reaction or the White Terror played more of a role than I thought, I will touch on them when the Incroyables are covered. But for now, it's going on the shelf. In 1794, the Société Républicaine et Populaire des Arts decreed, dress stops being purely utilitarian. It becomes an object of representation. It is directed by Francais, and pride takes it into its fold. It serves to make distinctions between wealth and rank. Would it not be advantageous to substitute this unwholesome way of dressing, a national costume dictated by reason and approved by good taste? And so, they would begin to look into a kind of fashion you see only in sci-fi movies. A single outfit for everyone, no matter who you were, with only slight differences for some occupations. Ideas like this, of course, were met with revolutionary disagreement by the remaining members of the aristocracy. The Merveilleuses dressed themselves against the ideas of the society. They would wear Roman and Greco-styled togas, almost all of which were made of a very thin fabric and too light to hold pockets, leading to many women carrying with them a small bag. Greek-style sandals, wigs of many colors, and exotic perfumes were also in their arsenal. Hairstyles like Income, Emporapi, and à la Grenouille, as well as curly Greco-Roman hairstylings were seen predominantly on these women as well. Terms like à la Dion and à la Minerva describe such fashions, a rejuvenation of antiquated styles and deities in human form. Now, you may be wondering, who were these ladies, and were any of them important? To which I'd say, yeah, the ones I have were at least. Anne-Françoise Elisabeth Langer, a French comedy actress. She was arrested by the Committee of Public Safety in 1793 for being the lead in Pamela, or Virtue Rewarded. She was saved from the guillotine during the Thermidorian reaction. Hortense de Beauharnais, daughter of Empress Josephine from her first marriage of General Alexandre de Beauharnais, and mother of future Emperor Napoleon III. She married Louis I of Holland, the younger brother of Napoleon. Teresa d'Allion, a prominent salonier, she was considered the Queen of Merveilleuses and influenced much of their fashion, doing such extravagant things like wearing rings on her toes, bracelets on her legs, and on one occasion, only a silk dress to the Paris Opera. And I mean only a silk dress, no sleeves, nor underwear, nor shoes, if I read my sources right. It was also claimed that she only bathed in strawberry juice for its healing properties. Madame Germaine de Stael, a French socialite, political theorist, and key member of the Coppet group. She was also one of the first to use the 19th century connotations of Romanticism. Juliette de Camier, another influential salonier of the time, she is considered by some historians to be a romantic partner of Madame de Stael. While I could not find much outside of French fashion laws, I can guess it was received much like any fashion trends of the era, and by that I mean it was received prudishly by at least 2 old women and 1 priest. From what I read, there didn't seem to be much concern about the nudity bits, but I only read a handful of documents about public opinion. I did find some art though, which I tastefully censored. The Merveilleuses, and by extension, the Incroyables, were products of their time, a reaction to the utilitarian restrictions set by the Directorate, and a protest in the most extravagant way these aristocrats knew. One could see them through the lens of feminism. Empowered by the Revolution, many of these prominent women participated in French political discourse, and all of them were nearly equal or even more powerful than what was normal at the time. One could also call them hipsters. They dressed in clothing of either outlandish or older fashion, contrary to the norms of the time. And if you look at the modern nudist movements, Madame d'Allion is probably watching them from the Avre, saying, I dressed naked before it was cool. The influence of the Merveilleuses, while not seen directly in our current fashion, still holds up in some spots of French culture today. Like this. Or this. Or even this. So that's the Merveilleuses movement, a group of women who fought the new French Republic with extravagant displays of gold, silk, and skin. The influence still goes on with the more extravagant fashion in the last century, and it's going to be a long never until it fades. Who's up next on the guillotine of subcultures? Well, you're in luck, because here it comes.
J'aime l'oignon frit à l'huile, j'aime l'oignon quand il est beau. J'aime l'oignon frit à l'huile, j'aime l'oignon. Oh pas camarade, oh pas camarade, oh pas, oh pas, oh pas. Oh pas camarade, oh pas camarade, oh pas, oh pas, oh pas.